Mental Marky Mark, how are you today?
Morning, Mart. I am good. I'm good. It's a long weekend, so it's great. Got 4 days off, and the sun is shining in England. So I'm good. Good, mate.
Okay, and I'm fantastic as well. Thank you for asking.
How are you?
Always very nice. The 4 days off doesn't really work when you're self-employed, but I'm always fantastic and happy, as usual. Anyway, even though our friend the Hellraiser has left us in the lurch, which is some nice RnR vocab, like left us in the shit, let's say. We had planned a threesome, not sexual, obviously, a three-way podcast for the first time, and then at the last minute, what happened, Mental Marky Mark?
He let us down. He sent a message on WhatsApp at 10:17. We were due to meet at 10:30. At 10:17, he said, "I've got to pop out. I'm sorry, I can't make it. And by the way, I don't have my recording equipment, my microphone anyway." So
the Hellraiser is the definition of professionalism. Okay. But we're here. Okay. A little bit now of a disappointment. It's just the two of us, but okay, we're going to push through this. Okay. Mental Marky Mark.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, the B team is all right. You don't always have to have the best players playing.
Absolutely. And just quickly, some people last time you were on had difficulty with your name, Mental Marky Mark. Just so people know, it's mental, like a crazy person. Okay, because Mental Marky Mark is crazy, aren't you?
Yeah. I am. I'm just a crazy guy all around. And do bear in mind that name came about, I think, when I was 12 or 13.
In fact, I think maybe in school they should warn 12 or 13-year-olds, don't give yourself any stupid names, because that will come back to haunt you in 20, 30 years. So when it comes back to haunt you, it will come back and give you a problem, let's say. Come back and bite you in the arse is another one. Anyway, Mental Marky Mark, on to today's show. Do you remember how we start the show?
Sure do. Let's find out if we have any reviews.
Yeah, I know you in the past wanted to be a radio DJ, okay, but I'm in charge here, okay? We need to follow the rules. I then ask you if you think we have one, okay? You can't ask me. I know we have one. So yes, we do have a review. Although this is actually a LinkedIn review, because I've recently joined LinkedIn, and I promised this avid listener I would read this one. So this is from Martin Wegzern. As always, apologies for the pronunciation. Martin is from Poland, also in the RnR English family, and he says, Martin will bring you to the next level when it comes to understanding and speaking properly. Actually, because it's never written in good English, so I have to kind of change it a bit. So Martin will bring you to the next level when it comes to understanding and speaking. Okay. Martin will bring you to the next level when it comes to understanding and speaking proper natural English. All this happens in an extraordinary manner that nobody else can offer. You will have to accept a great sense of humor, crazy stories, and a decent portion of day-to-day English. I have been prospering from Martin's services for 6 years now.
Wow.
I'm not sure if it's 6, because I think, should I say that? I'll just change that a bit. Actually, I have been prospering from Martin's services for many years now. Once you try it, you will never stop. It actually says you will never stop doing it with him. Okay. Once you try, you will never stop doing it with him. Sounds quite sexual there, doing it with him. But yes, fantastic. I strongly recommend Martin as an English teacher with a passion in his blood. This is the best you can do for your English. Don't be a pussy and give it a try.
He definitely has benefited from rock and roll English. He's calling you a pussy and stuff.
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, thank you very much for that, Martin. That's much appreciated. And yeah, pussy, a kind of slang word to say someone that is not a very strong person. I didn't know pussy is allowed on LinkedIn. I wasn't sure if it's allowed there.
I don't know. Well, maybe. No idea. Why do they censor stuff on LinkedIn?
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, great to hear it. Some RnR vocab also on LinkedIn. So thanks very much again. So on to today's show, Mental Marky Mark. So as you know, recently, in fact, after we had been out a couple of weeks ago, I was walking down the street, saw hairdressers and thought, you know what, I'm gonna go in there, and had a absolute stinker of a haircut. So a terrible haircut. I walked in and said, you know, I want it layered, like different lengths. And he basically just put a bowl on my head and just cut around like a Lego man, basically. So I thought we could talk about haircuts in general, okay, which may be difficult for you because you have literally had the same haircut in the 26 years that I've known you. For people that haven't seen Mental Marky Mark, I will describe his haircut. So, you know, if you have a microphone like I've got now, and then you have that kind of like black like material on the microphone, that's basically what Mental Marky Mark has on his head and has had on his head for 26 years. Is that a good description?
Obviously, yes, it is an accurate description, and you're digging up some demons here for me, because you're taking me back to school and you're taking me back to the days when Hellraiser used to grab me by the head and shout into my hair to pretend it was a microphone. And then,
testing 1 2 3 is what I remember him shouting into your head.
and this carried on because my housemate, when I lived in Reading in England, my housemate once said, Carol, Mental Marky Mark, all your hair is pubic, all of it.
So remember, pubic hair is the hair, let's say, around your genitalia, and Mental Marky Mark just has that on his head, because normally those hairs are, we often say, short and curly. It's kind of like the ones on your head. It just seems to be the same length. I've never seen it long. I've never seen it short. It's just the same length every single day, 365 days a year. It's an incredible situation on your head that you have there. But okay, so we're talking about the hairdressers in general. In fact, I actually saw this on Facebook. It said very British problems at the hairdressers, and lots of these really resonated with me, like really hit home, let's say. So we're going to start from the start of the hair cut situation, where you have to, well, usually have your hair washed, okay? And then they always say, is the water okay? The temperature of the water. And I want to know, can you actually say no to that question? Can you actually say no? It's too, there have been times where they have burnt my head. There have been times where it's freezing cold, but every time they ask, is the temperature okay? I always say, yep, perfect. Thanks a lot.
But this is because, so I wouldn't know, because this is probably true in the way that I have a terrible haircut and you have some trendy hair. It's that I never go to a hairdresser's where they actually wash your hair first. I just go to like a barber where you pay 10 quid and they make this mess.
Right. You know what? It's my fault for choosing you to talk about haircuts, to choosing the person with the worst haircut in the world. So you've never had your hair washed by another person?
Yeah, maybe a few years ago, when I had a splurge and went to a trendy hairdresser and got my hair washed before I got it cut. Yes, it was. I don't know. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they get it right.
They've just got a knack for getting the temperature of the water right, haven't they? So when you have a knack for something, it's like a secret talent. You just know the temperature of the water. But then again, maybe you won't know this, but what happens after this is the kind of head massage. Okay. And again, an extremely uncomfortable experience for me. I'm just there thinking, I mean, now when this happens, I think, am I allowed to be doing this? I'm a married man, and there's another woman massaging my head.
Do you prefer a male or a female hairdresser?
For the touching the head thing, because there is something sensual about that, erotic. Then I must admit, I do prefer a woman to do that. And
don't get erections in the hairdressers, Martin. You can't do that. I'm sure you're not supposed to do that.
I'm not sure. If any hairdressers,
I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do that.
They should have a sign outside the hairdresser saying "No erections."
Oh God.
But no, luckily that has never happened to me. Probably happened when I was 15 or something like that. But I mean, just strong wind, and I got an erection when I was that age. But yeah, no, I have had a few times of a man doing it, and then again, it's uncomfortable enough someone touching me anyway. And then when a man is slowly caressing my head, I do kind of think, this is really weird. This is really weird. Yeah. But yeah, okay. So then once you've got your hair washed, that awkward part is over. And then you sit down in the chair, they look at you and say, what are we doing? And sometimes people bring in photos. I mean, do you bring in a photo of a microphone and just say, make me look like the microphone? What do you do?
I always wish I do take a photo in, because I hate getting my hair cut, because they never get it right.
Oh, I'm totally with you. Never. I mean, the situation of my hair is I get it cut and it looks shit for at least a month. Then I have a kind of couple of week period where I'm happy with it, and then it looks shit again.
Yeah.
And that's just a cycle of my hair, really, the life of my hair.
I have so I'm going to get my hair cut, funnily enough, tomorrow, because Bonnie's, my wife's sister, is a hairdresser, and she's a superb hairdresser.
I mean, you have to say that. You can't not say that, can you? Especially on a public podcast. She's the best. You've also just said how the hairdresser never gets it right. So apart from your wife's sister, who always gets it perfect.
She lives like 100 miles away. So obviously I don't get it cut by her very often. But if I could drive 100 miles to get my hair cut, or get the train or whatever, I would, because there's only one who can get it right. And if they move away, or they stop cutting hair, you're screwed.
Yeah,
you end up going to a Turkish barber. Never go to a Turkish barber. Well, whatever Corporal Coma says.
I think we have to take that out though, because there are lots of Turkish people that listen, and they could be offended by that. So maybe you can say that again. Never go to a random hairdresser, something like that.
All right. Yeah, never go to a random hairdresser. You're just walking along the high street and you think, this place will do. There's no queue.
That's exactly that's exactly what I did the other day, walking along the street, because that's the thing. I've moved back now. I need to find a new hairdresser. In fact, my first few years in Italy, I'd say my first at least 2 years, I always actually got my hair cut in England. Whilst now it's the opposite. Now I need to go to Italy to get my hair cut. But speaking of photos, I have brought in 2 photos in my life to hairdressers. One of which is someone called
what you're going to say.
Ian Hart, who was a left back that played for Leeds United, and he had a fucking brilliant haircut in the 90s. And it was actually really difficult to get a picture then. I had to take out something from the newspaper
or from the Premier League sticker book. You take in a Leeds United sticker.
Exactly, yeah, the sticker. Maybe why didn't I think of that? To have the player, the sticker, and say, this is how I want my hair. And the other, of course, George Best, but didn't quite get the same haircut, but never mind. Okay, so then, you sit down and then they say, can we get you anything? Do you want a drink of something? What do you do in that situation, mental Marky Mark?
To be fair, so again, I'm going to use the word trendy because I lived in London for a bit, and there was like they had the trendy barber shop where they'd offer you a beer, and they had a fridge of beer, like, yeah, have a beer while you get your hair cut. And it's, you know, so at 11 a.m. that feels a bit weird. And then you go to probably a hairdresser like yours where they're like, can I get you a coffee? And I don't know. I used to think, no, I'm fine. But now I think, well, if you're charging me 30 quid to get my hair cut, yeah, I'll have a coffee as well.
I'll have everything you're offering.
Exactly. And a biscuit.
Yeah, definitely biscuits. Now, I actually only said once. So let me say that again. So I actually only said yes once to that question, and they brought me a cup of tea, and then it had loads of hair in it. I mean, it may have been my hair, but there's lots of hair flying around, isn't there, at the hairdressers? And then I was drinking hair. So then since that day, always say no to that, because I do not want to take that risk again of literally eating hair. And then so you sit down, and it's a long time to look at yourself in the mirror, isn't it? When you're at the hairdressers, you're kind of thinking, do I really look this bad? Like, because you don't really study yourself so much. But then there's that, and you think, Jesus Christ, this is bad, especially now we're older. And then obviously your hands, they put that kind of Batman cape over you. Well, I suppose not Batman, a cape over you. And then you've got your hands under there. And I always think, if I start moving my hands, it kind of looks like I'm masturbating. So,
well, you already said you've got an erection, so
you need to get rid of the erection in some way.
Well, that's why you have your hands there, to make like a tent out of the cape they put on you, so you can hide the stonker you got on, the boner.
Lots of great erection vocabulary here from Mental Marky Mark. Stonker, boner, lots more as well we could share with you. But yeah, it's another awkward situation.
Any girls listen to this podcast? They're not going to listen anymore. I'm sorry to the female.
Certainly any female hairdressers. I think they're going to have pictures of me in hairdressers now. I'm going to be banned from all of them. And then obviously once they've finished, you have the thing of they get the mirror, don't they, behind, and they show you the back of your head. And for me, it's like discovering a new world. I kind of think, when do you ever look at the back of your head? And I think, oh, Jesus, wow, what's going on back there? I'd never really considered it.
Yeah, and then when you get to, well, my age, our age, and you start seeing the beginnings of the thinning, and you start seeing your crown on your head getting a little bit less hair on it. I don't like it when they show me the back of my hair now.
Yeah, so like the crown is like that bit at the back of your head where the hair starts, let's say. It's difficult to explain. My hair loss is coming from the front, really. Yeah. So I always spend most of my time trying to just cover up the bits where, because sometimes they expose me in the hairdressers. They comb it back, and then it exposes me. I feel like a naked person. And then I quickly try and just cover up those bald patches. In fact, that's one of the things I say when they say, what are we doing? I say, well, try and keep it long, but also try and cover up these bald patches if you can. And that would be great. And then again, when they show you that with the mirror and they say, everything okay? What can you say? Yep. In your mind, you're saying, what the fuck have you just done to me? But you say, no, brilliant. Thanks a lot. Absolutely brilliant. I never.
And you have to be careful in getting in conversations, because if sometimes if they ask you what to do, what do you do for a living or anything like that, I just don't tell them, because if I ever tell, I mentioned them in the military, some hairdressers assume then that you should look like Forest Gump. And they think, and they don't listen to what you want. They think, oh, he must have to have it really short. And I'm like, no, I don't have to have it really short. So why have you done this? So never tell them what you do.
Like Forrest Gump. I can imagine you go into the hairdressers with a picture of Forrest Gump saying, this is who I want to look like. my idol, Forrest Gump. And then obviously you get to the paying part, and then it's always the awkward thing, the tip. I swear as well, this place, for example, I got my hair cut the other day, was £14. And I thought, they do that surely. And that they didn't even accept card. So I said, can I pay on card? They said no. So then I had to go and get some money out, and they do that. So then you say, keep the pound. They give you a 5 and you say, keep the pound. But it was such a bad haircut that I just waited. He gave me the 5, and he was expecting me to say, you know, keep the pound for yourself. But my hand just remained there of like, please give me that £1. I'm not giving you anything, you bastard.
Look at me. Look at me.
It's just so awkward because I've had this before of like in Italy, obviously things were much cheaper, and paying, for example, 12, and then you think, right, okay, and you pay with 15, €3, like €3, that's more than 10%. That's crazy. That's crazy money.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of pressure.
Is it the same thing in Italy then with the tipping? It's kind of is it? I mean, certain things it's expected, right? You know.
Yeah, I would say a little bit less than England, but still, in the same situations of like the hairdressers, like taxis kind of thing. Certainly not on the American standards. We'll do another podcast about that another day. Mental Marky Mark. I'm sure you've got lots to tell us. And then so you've got your haircut, and then you leave the hairdressers, and then certainly for me, tell me if the same for you. You wait till you're about 20, 30 meters away before you then look into a car window or a shop window and try to restyle your hair. But you have to do it away from the hairdressers because they might see that you actually think they did a shit job.
But I don't think the hairdressers care. I don't think they care. I mean, because they must see so many people do that. I'm so blatant these days. I stand up and look in the mirror and sort it out myself.
Right, right there in front of the hairdresser, just to say like that was absolutely shit. Wow. Do you do that with your wife's sister?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Because
sure you do. Sure you do.
She cuts it in like the house, so then you just go and sort it out yourself anyway.
In fact, that's probably better because you can just go into the bathroom, lock the door. She can't see what you're doing, and then actually sort of put it how you want. And another thing, well, certainly for me, obviously with long hair, I always say to people like, not that much off. Don't cut that much off. But I think they just love cutting, don't they, hairdressers? So they actually, you say like, just an inch. And then it's like 5 inches, and you think, oh my God, what the fuck are you doing?
I just ask the ends off now. Just take the ends off. And I also
just take the end of my pubic hair off my head.
Just sort this wiry mess out.
It does seem to be the same length in every part of your head, doesn't it?
It's so cruel about my hair. So cruel. I put so much effort in, I get it cut. And even my wife says, it just looks the same. I was like, it's even after lockdown where I didn't get it cut for 6 months, and then got it cut, and someone said it's just the same.
Well, we'll have to put a picture of Mental Marky Mark's hair on social media so people can have it just to see this. It's been the topic of the conversation, okay? And then leave their own opinion, okay? We all want to know, does he look like a microphone? Maybe I'll put a picture of a microphone next to you, and then they can say they can guess which one's the microphone and guess which one's you. But anyway, thanks a lot for your time, Mental Marky Mark, discussing trip to the hairdressers, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, man. See ya.
See you soon. Bye-bye.